Hi there everyone, my name is Saira Francis and I'm here to give you another energy update for February 2026. So this month looks like it's going to be yet another quite challenging month for many of us, but we do need to remember to stay in our hearts and to stay in love as a way through. The message is very much a hopeful one. I'm still channeling 3i Atlas. I have been back since the end of October, and the energy that's flowing through that interstellar being is still incredibly profound and so full of love and light, unconditional, pure love that flows from a Christ consciousness energy. Now, this Christ consciousness energy has nothing to do with religion. It doesn't even have anything to do with Jesus. Jesus was an avatar of the divine, but unfortunately, his story, his being has been turned into something that has become very much about the material, about looking at a picture of him or singing a hymn about him, rather than actually feeling that energy of love within you. Now, you don't need to be a Christian, you don't need to be religious, but we can all connect to love. We can all feel love. It's something that we're born with in our hearts. And I've been getting the message so strongly that that is flowing to us more and more. I was given the message back at the end of last year that help was on its way through 3i Atlas, that its connection into our solar system, its being here, passing the sun, passing the earth, now on to Jupiter and then Uranus and then on out to Pluto, taking many years still before it completely leaves our solar system, and perhaps millennia before it becomes completely insignificant for us. The message is that it is bringing help, but that help is energetic. They told me that they are still there, trying to help us, sending light, sending orbs, sending material debris, and that they're doing that in a stealth way. I was actually given the word stealth, meaning that they're trying to hide from telescopes, trying to hide from astronomers because they want to reach us. And they told me to pass on to you that this help would be here around the 25th to the 27th of June. Now, I know that that is when 3i Atlas will pass close to Uranus, so it could be connected to that. I'm not an astrologer or an astronomer, so let's just see. But it feels that over the coming months, more of these rays of light will be flowing to us. Now, what's happening on the Earth at this time is, of course, very disturbing and distressing. But what is the most important thing that we can do now is to stay in light during February, to keep our vibrations high. This is so important that we do this for ourselves and to share this energy with others who are perhaps more in need. A lot of people are really struggling with the dark energy at the moment, but it's only becoming more and more obvious because it's being brought down. I described, imagine you're bringing the world into a small town, into a small city perhaps, and imagine that that city is full of gangs, gang lords, gang warfare, all going on behind the scenes under the radar. Perhaps the majority of people in that city don't even know what's going on. They just hear snippets here and there, but it's not being broadcast on the news. We know this is the case around the world. Many of us know that a lot of what is actually going on, the sort of underbelly of the global situation, will never be shared on the news, and we will never know it. Even those of us who think we know a lot do not know half of what is actually happening. But imagine that that gang warfare was starting to now be brought down. Can you imagine the chaos in that city if people started to take those gangs on and started to try and draw out that darkness from the underbelly into the light and to show it? Now, everyone living in that city who may have spent years living there without any idea about how bad things were would suddenly start to see it, would suddenly start to be very afraid and be fearful for their families and their loved ones and feel unsafe. So that's what's happening. It's like it's all being brought out, but it is like gang warfare in the sense that what we see on the BBC News or wherever you are in the world is the top layer of the political situation around the world. And what I was guided to share with you is that the truth takes a very, very long time to finally be shown out. We all know this in our own lives. Imagine if you've been through a difficult situation at work, or you've been through a messy divorce, or had a bad situation with a friend, where there's perhaps been a lot of lying and power and control. That can happen in our personal lives, sadly. It takes a long time, doesn't it? If you've been through something like that, or you know someone who has, it takes a long time for all the layers of truth to be peeled away until we finally actually know what has been happening. So as we leave Kali Yuga, the Hindu idea of Kali Yuga, which shows us that area we've been in the cycle of the yugas, where we go up to Satya, down to Kali. Kali was the lowest. We came out of that nearly a year ago now, March 2025. Now, as we come out of that, we're moving into this cycle of Satya, of truth. It could take us a long time to reach the top. It certainly won't happen for many thousands of years. But as we move into truth, there is a real need to be flexible and open to the truth changing. Even those of us who perhaps think we know what's really going on, there's been a lot of illusion. There has been a lot of tricks. There has been a lot of mirrors, smoke and mirrors. The veil is very thick. The fog is very thick between us and what the truth actually is on the world stage. So being able to allow your ego to dissolve, because the ego likes to be right. The ego likes to know exactly what is happening. The ego does that for a good reason, because it helps us to survive as human beings and to live in the world in a comfortable way. If we know what's coming, if we know who's right, who's wrong, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and so on, it can help us to feel safer. What's happening now is that's going to keep changing throughout February and on through this year. It's going to keep changing, and it's really important that we allow ourselves to go with that flow and to not hold on to a belief in a person or a situation that we believe is right, that we keep allowing ourselves to say, oh, I was completely wrong. We were completely wrong. We got it completely wrong there because we just couldn't possibly know. There's 8 billion of us on the world, and there's a very small proportion of that are actually running the world. And there is so much corruption that it's going to take a very long time for that slow unveiling to show us which characters were trustworthy and which weren't. And it is the ego that will hold on. So being able to be open to flow and flexible, that is the energy of Satya. That's the energy of Satya Yuga. Part of the teaching in the Hindu tradition of Satya is to be open to the truth changing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way the world, the universe works. And it will happen through history. We look back in the past and we see our ancestors living in a certain way, what they may have been told about how the world works. And we know now that that's not the case. And we're going through that at hyper speed at the moment, really, really being open to letting go of what you believed in is very, very important. Now, I'm filming this at the end of January, and yesterday, on the 24th of January, I received an absolutely exquisite message from 3i Atlas, the interstellar being that is bringing to me, and to many of you as well, I know, this wonderful Christ consciousness energy of the divine feminine and the sacred masculine through Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. It's an energy. And when you feel that Christ consciousness energy, it dissolves everything. It dissolves all fear. It dissolves all negativity. And all of this dark energy on the planet cannot exist when that love is felt by so many of us as it becomes stronger and stronger. So the sense is that around the end of June, shortly after solstice, that there is something coming from 3i Atlas towards us. So even though it passed Earth on the 19th of December, it was closest to Earth on 19th of December 2025. It was at that point that it actually released something that is heading to us and will have taken nearly 6 months to arrive from December to June. So let's just see how that feels over the coming months, and I'll obviously let you know what else I receive. There was advice. There is always a lot of advice with these channeled messages from this interstellar being. Advice about how to love in real, practical and tangible ways. Messages like making sure you hug people, making sure you spend time with people. Love is something that we extend towards another and towards ourselves. Love is something that we take action in doing. Now, the message that I received yesterday was to ask us all to take time to think about not only asking for healing for ourselves. See, I know that this is what I've been doing the last few years, focusing very much on, praying, please help me to feel better. Please help me to release this suffering that I sometimes feel in my heart, and help me to feel more peace and more contentment. And that is a wonderful thing to do. But could we also start to ask, please help me to help others. Please help me to not cause others to suffer. Please help me to know how to not cause pain in another. Now, most of us never cause pain intentionally. It's not something we ever go out to do. It's not something that we ever plan to do. But just through our own unhealed shadow wounds, our own karma that is unresolved and unprocessed, we naturally can create suffering in others without meaning to, unconsciously, no intention whatsoever. It just happens. It's just the way that we work as humans. So can we pray and meditate on asking for support from the divine, from the Christ conscious energy of love, to help us to no longer cause suffering in others, and to be guided to try to work with that. Now, this is something that we can do when we are healing. And it feels now that there is an energy across the globe. A lot of people are healing now. There have been incredible spontaneous and miraculous healings. People having incredible spontaneous and miraculous spiritual awakenings, feeling and sensing energy for the first time, whatever age. It's wonderful to see. Of course, there's also huge amounts of darkness as well, but that's because it's being shown. So can we, now that we are feeling maybe that a lot of that trauma and ancestral energy that we've holding, the karmic baggage, so to speak, can we actually ask that is, we can now begin to help other people and not suffer. So this isn't about being codependent. It's not about rescuing. It's not about having no boundaries. It's not about allowing people into your life who hurt you. It's not about overextending yourself at the detriment of yourself. It's about getting to a point where you feel well enough in yourself and peaceful enough in yourself to be able to support other people and not cause suffering in them. Now, the other energy to really think about during this next month, to really consider, was another message that I channeled from the Christ Consciousness Rays of Light, and that was about sin. So sin is a word used a great deal in the Bible. It's a Christian word. We think of Jesus, we think of, God in a Christian way, but this isn't religious. So I was guided that sin actually means karma. Now, in the spiritual community, we are very comfortable with talking about karma. We talk about it a lot. We talk about having our karma, clearing our karma, working on our karma, meaning that accumulation of spiritual baggage, negative energy, connections with others through this life and all past and parallel lives. So if we take the word sin and feel that perhaps it's been misconstrued and actually given a really negative connotation in Christianity, that it's the badness in us. It's the parts of us that are, wrong and bad and evil. But actually, when we start to turn that word and use karma instead, it makes so much sense. Cleansing our sins, cleansing our karma, forgiving our sins, forgiving our karma. So this helps us to understand that this vein, if you like, of working with karma has run through many, many religions. And what if we start to take that word sin, translate it into karma, and then look at some of the teachings from the Bible as well as other religions, it helps us to see how important it is to clear karma, to clear sin, to cleanse it. And by doing that, we then help to process our own traumas. We help to release energy stuck in us from past lives. And we're then able to no longer cause suffering in others, because it's our sin, it's our karma that causes suffering in others. So by releasing our karma, by working on our sin, we are releasing those parts of us that cause pain in others. And that's what we're being asked to really look at this month, is to not just become completely centered in ourselves and our own healing. That is so important. But once we're there, once we feel like we're getting there, it's time to start to turn and look at how we are in the world. Look at how we project ourselves out in the world. Look at how we affect others, not just our loved ones, but everybody, to start to become more conscious of how we're being in the world. How are we talking to others? What kind of an energy we are taking out when we open the front door and walk out into the world, when we get in the car, go to work, go to the supermarket? What kind of energy are we projecting out? And remember, this is about energy. Karma, sin, is energy. It's not about necessarily what we say, it's what we feel. What we could say anything, but how do we actually feel inside? What are we carrying with us when we move around? Also thinking about that way that we connect with others energetically. Working online is wonderful, but if I was actually with you right now, I might be able to explain this message much more easily. It's much easier to feel someone when you're in their space, as well as what we say through voice notes or phone calls or online on YouTube, working on Zoom. It all works. Healing works remotely. But remembering how important it is to share in real time, in real space, and how that can be very profoundly healing for yourself and others, coming together in community to work with light and consciousness. Now, the most important part of this update that I want to share with you is that help is on its way, and that love is going to return to this planet without any doubt. I am so full of hope, and I'm not deluded. I'm very, very aware of what is going on out there. I'm very, very aware of how difficult and dark it seems. But this energy is only getting darker and stronger because of how much light is pouring in. It's shining a light, it's pouring a light on that darkness and showing it. So if I could just share my heart with you now and assure you that you can feel safe, you can trust that there is love. The universe is made of love. It is all around us. And when you connect to that Christ consciousness energy that is flowing to us and will continue to flow and will reach a peak in just a few months' time at the end of June, it will dissolve. It will dissolve all fear. It will dissolve all negativity. There will be many who will cling onto dark because it's been used to have power over us, to control us for millennia. But we are shifting into a new vibration now, a new frequency of profound love. And this is something that we all know. It's something that we all have in our hearts. It's just been so dormant. We've been conditioned. It's been programmed out of many of us. But this vision that I'd like you all to share with me for just a moment, if you just bring your hands onto your heart and close your eyes, to share a vision that I was guided to. And that is the critical mass, the majority of the planet really starting to connect to love and finding their way back to the divine, back to the Christ consciousness energy of light, and getting down on their knees and praying and asking for help. So just imagine that. Imagine everybody in unison, just dropping to their knees in humbleness, in complete service, and pleading for help from the divine. Just imagine that now, that everyone puts down their weapons and their tools from their day's work. Everyone just drops. And just imagine yourself now praying for help. Just imagine yourself now putting it up there and asking for that help to come, for that energy to come, that high frequency light to dissolve all negativity and to bring us back into unity consciousness, to bring us back into harmony. Feel yourself now praying and asking for love to return, so that all children are born into light and will always be supported and loved, and that all adults will trust that there's nothing to fear, because we're all returning home eventually. We're all returning home to light, and that we can transmute this darkness and bring and anchor heaven into earth. So that is a vision and a prayer that I'd like you all to hold on to and to practice every day until we meet again next month for the March update. So really remembering that this energy is being anchored in, it's being brought to us. We are going through the most profound and transformative times. There is nothing to fear. Feel that love in your heart every day, and remember to ask. Remember that it's okay to get down on your knees and literally pray for support and help for yourself, and to help us, to help ourselves to no longer inflict any kind of suffering on others, so that we can all be kind and beautiful beings and look after each other and support each other in light. So until I'm back next month, I wish you all the blessings. I wish you well. Thank you for watching this video. Do like and subscribe, and please do share if you found this supportive, if it resonated for you, if it helps you, like I hope it will help you, then please do share it with your friends. Blessings to you all.